The email arrived at exactly 8:02 on a Monday morning. Effective immediately, your position has been eliminated as part of our organizational restructuring. I read it 3 times. Not because I didn't understand it, because 12 hours earlier, my CEO had personally congratulated me for delivering the most successful software platform in the company's history. 5 years, 5 birthdays missed, hundreds of sleepless nights, more than 2 million lines of code. And all I received was a generic HR email and a 15-minute meeting invite. My name is Ethan Brooks, and until that morning, I was the lead systems architect at Novasync Technologies. The irony? The company had just signed a £48 million enterprise contract because of software that I had built almost entirely from scratch. Project Atlas wasn't just another application. It was the backbone of the company's future, a self-learning logistics platform capable of predicting supply chain failures before they happened. Executives love to brag about artificial intelligence during investor meetings. Clients called it revolutionary. The media described it as the future of global logistics. Nobody ever mentioned the exhausted programmer who had practically lived inside the office for 5 years, making it possible. That programmer was me. 3 months before my dismissal, management hired a new vice president of engineering, Ryan Mercer. Expensive suits, perfect smile, 0 programming experience. His specialty wasn't software, it was politics. Within weeks, he began presenting my architecture diagrams as his own strategic vision. Whenever investors visited, Ryan walked them through demonstrations that I had personally prepared. Every compliment somehow found its way to him. Every difficult technical question somehow found its way to me. Then came the announcement. Novasync was streamlining operations. Translation? Replace experienced engineers with cheaper contractors overseas. I wasn't the only casualty. Half of my development team disappeared in one afternoon. People who had dedicated years to building the company's success left carrying cardboard boxes. Ryan assured everyone the transition would be seamless. I knew better, because there was one thing Ryan didn't understand. Project Atlas wasn't held together by documentation. It was held together by thousands of tiny engineering decisions that only the original developers understood. Before leaving, HR escorted me to my desk. I packed my keyboard, family photo, coffee mug, security badge. Ryan stood nearby with folded arms. "You've done great work," he said. "We'll take it from here." I smiled. "I hope you do." That confused him. He expected anger. Instead, I wished everyone good luck and walked away. 2 weeks later, the first client outage happened. Then another. Then another. The replacement developers kept patching symptoms instead of solving problems. Every rushed fix created 2 new bugs. Support tickets exploded. Clients started demanding emergency meetings. The engineering Slack channels turned into digital war zones. Former teammates called me privately. "Ethan, they're completely lost." I wasn't surprised. See, Project Atlas contains something I had quietly built years earlier. Not malicious code, nothing illegal, just an automated integrity verification system. Every software module continuously checked whether neighboring components behaved according to documented engineering standards. If someone introduced unstable code, the platform isolated that module before it could corrupt the entire system. It was designed to protect customers. Ironically, it was now protecting itself from incompetent management. Ryan assumed the integrity engine was malfunctioning. He ordered contractors to disable it. Huge mistake. Without those safeguards, corrupted data began spreading through production servers. Warehouses received duplicate shipping orders. Invoices generated incorrect totals. Delivery schedules collapsed. One Fortune 500 customer temporarily halted operations after receiving completely contradictory inventory reports. Financial news websites noticed. Novasync's share price dropped 12% in one day. Then came the emergency board meeting. Ryan confidently declared that the original engineering team had left behind unstable software. Except, one board member happened to be an engineer before entering finance. She asked a simple question. If the software was unstable, Why did failures begin only after every original developer was dismissed? Silence. Ryan blamed legacy architecture. She requested Git history. Version control never lies. Every commit, every author, every modification. Within minutes, the timeline appeared on the projector. For 5 years, Project Atlas had maintained nearly perfect stability. The instability began exactly 48 hours after Ryan's outsourced team replaced core services. Nobody said a word. They didn't have to. The evidence spoke louder than any presentation. 3 days later, my phone rang. It was the CEO. His voice sounded very different from our last conversation. "Ethan, we'd like you to return. As a consultant." I almost laughed. "You fired your entire engineering department." "We made mistakes. We're prepared to discuss compensation." I replied with a single sentence. "I don't work for companies that mistake programmers for replaceable hardware." Then I hung up. I thought that would be the end. It wasn't, because investors were furious. One after another, they demanded an independent forensic audit. The investigation uncovered something much bigger than failed software deployments. Ryan hadn't simply outsourced engineers. He had approved contracts worth millions to consulting firms, secretly owned by close business associates. Costs tripled. Productivity collapsed. Critical security reviews were skipped. Everything had been hidden behind polished PowerPoint slides. The board acted immediately. Ryan was terminated before sunset. A month later, Novasync announced a complete restructuring. The CEO resigned. Several executives quietly disappeared from the leadership page. The company publicly admitted engineering decisions had been influenced by poor management rather than technical realities. Industry blogs praised the unusual transparency. Former employees simply called it karma. Meanwhile, I wasn't unemployed. Remember those 5 years building Atlas? They taught me exactly what customers actually needed. Not flashy presentations, reliable software. I partnered with 3 former colleagues. We rented a tiny office above an old print shop. Secondhand desks, used laptops, terrible coffee, unlimited determination. Instead of rebuilding Atlas, we built something better. Everything modular, everything documented, every engineering decision explained. No single executive could ever claim ownership over someone else's work again. Within 18 months, our startup signed contracts with 6 of Novasync's biggest former clients. Customers followed engineers, not executives. One rainy Thursday morning, I attended an industry conference. Walking through the exhibition hall, I noticed a familiar face, Ryan. Except this time, no expensive tailored suit, no crowd of executives surrounding him, just a visitor badge and a nervous smile. He recognized me instantly. "I underestimated you," he admitted. I nodded. "You underestimated engineers. There's a difference." 6 months later, our company completed Series B funding. Valuation? Just over £210 million. The same investment group that once funded Novasync now backed us instead. Life has a remarkable sense of humor. People often ask whether I planned revenge from the beginning. Honestly, no. The best revenge wasn't destroying my former employer. They managed that themselves. The real victory was proving that innovation doesn't belong to corporations. It belongs to the people willing to sacrifice nights, weekends, and years creating something extraordinary. Companies can terminate employees. Executives can steal presentations. Managers can claim credit. But genuine craftsmanship, that can never be copied. Because the greatest piece of software I ever built wasn't Project Atlas. It was the experience, knowledge, and confidence that walked out of Novasync with me. And unlike company property, that masterpiece was always mine.